to Board Game Empire. Today we're going to be doing a review of Evacuate by Petersen Games.
Okay, this is kind of like a race game. So you try to stay away from the Nomia, which attack you after each turn pretty much. You could be running either 1 to 4 steps, I think is the highest that we saw. And so you're just trying...
5.
Or 5. You're going to try to stay either the middle, rear, or front. The Nomia will attack one of those. And then the game ends when you hit the evacuate ready, and then you get the evacuation card and the Nomia, and it's drafted. Pretty easy game to learn and teach. So we're just going to jump right into the review. So for the rule books, what do you want?
I would give the rules like a 3.5 out of 5 because I will say I think the rules made it a little bit more complex than it should have been. It probably could have been illustrated and explained a little bit easier to make it a little bit easier to play this game because we kind of did have to study this game a little bit to play it. So yeah, and it's a really simple game. Basically, what you're doing is actually you're playing a move card, you move that many spaces, you pick one of these cards, you resolve the Nomia deck, and you pretty much just keep on doing that with these.
Yeah. So I'm going to give the rulebook a 4 out of 5. I do think the rulebook could be better illustrated and just the way it's lined up and everything. It does have some depth and detail. So I think it would have been better if it had player aids as well. I think that would have made it a little bit more simplistic and easier to get to the table quicker.
Yeah, like the player turn, player aid, like each thing you do, like you play a card and like it basically goes through all the steps.
Yeah, this would have easily been able to implement into a player aid with a front and back, and it would have just literally given every step, and the game you literally would have never had to read the rulebook. You could just gone through the steps. So 4 out of 5 in the rulebook. What do you think about the components?
I would give the components like a 4 out of 5. I do like the miniatures because they are different colors. I like the how the things actually have illustrations fall in the breeze. You can actually see it, but the cards are they do bend a little bit easily.
Yeah, they could be a little bit better quality.
Yeah, they do bend a little bit easier. And I wish the miniatures were a little bit higher quality because I could see them easily coming off of this thing. But
the stand.
Yeah, the stand. They could easily come off because I'm pretty sure they're just glued and they're kind of the way they're shaped, how they're walking, it kind of makes it they're an awkward position. So I could see if you're moving it, you're moving your hands, I could see it snapping off a part of it. So I wish the components were a little bit higher quality.
Okay, so I'll give the components at 3.5 out of 5. The card quality could be better. My issue is with the characters. I would say out of all of them, almost all of them, there's 1 or 2 where they're off their stand. I would have to super glue it to pretty much play it again. And that's how it came. And from everything I've seen, that everyone's had the same issue, where the characters are, 1 or 2 out of the whole pack of the different factions. The characters are out of the stand, and so you would have to super glue it. So, but the card quality could be a little better, and then I wish there was a player aid, but everything else is good. The illustration, the font, everything's easy to read. So 3.5 out of 5. What did you have for the experience?
I would give the experience a 4 out of 5. We did have a lot of fun in our playthrough. That was actually a really fun, intense game. But I do wish the rulebook was simplified and there was a player aid because I do feel the experience of this game is the the rules could have been fine-tuned. It would have made our experience a little bit better, and the components, because I wish all the miniatures were on their stands and the cards were a little bit higher quality, because it kind of worries us that if we play this game several more times, the cards may end up getting bent.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So I give the experience 4 out of 5 for the same reason that he first stated, that it was kind of a little bit frustrating at first to learn how to play it, because the rule book is good, but then it was like it skips around sometimes, and so you have to read it. It's not in order, I would say, from start to finish, in the player turn, and how you play the whole game. So we had a blast playing this, and it was quite intense at the end of our playthrough.
Yeah.
So 4 out of 5. An experience. What did you think about the mechanics?
I would give the mechanics actually a 4.2 out of 5. I actually thought the mechanics were actually a little bit interesting in this game. The fact of how you basically you play a card, and there's actually a lot of decision making, because like when you play a move, like you want to be like you want to still move up. You don't want to be super behind, but you also don't want to be too ahead. Because what we've noticed, the Nonia attack, they don't usually attack in between. They either attack the person who's in dead last or in the front. So you kind of want to be in that middle ground area, which is kind of tough at sometimes, especially when there's a lot of characters and you don't know what they're gonna do. So, and some of the cards even do abilities. I wish the cards did a little bit more abilities. I wish there was kind of some more Nomia attacks than just the back and the front. I wish maybe it attacked specific players. Like, let's say, for example, if that player moved onto a new location this turn, they would lose one of theirs, or they moved the slowest that turn, then they lose one of theirs. Something like that, to make it where you can come out of nowhere and there's some different things. Because what we noticed, it pretty much only attacks who's ever in front and last.
Yeah.
And I wish there was maybe a couple more of these cards, something. And I also wish maybe the evacuation chance part, once you pick up that, maybe something happens, there would be a cool effect there. So, yeah.
Okay, so I give it a 4.5 out of 5. I was kind of shocked and surprised with the mechanics. Once you actually play it, the first time is kind of struggle bust. But then the second time, you're going to be it's quite intense, and you have more of a strategy of how the game plays and how you're going to be maneuvering throughout the game. Like he stated, some of the cards do give you the ability to, I guess, trip people, and so it allows you to move them back. Or there's different cards, I think 3 or 4, that allow you to manipulate your opponent's movement. And then there's also one card that allows you to escape no matter what. If it's if you're in the rear, it's going to attack all the rears, and so it allows you to escape that. Or the front, it just allows you to escape whatever it's attacking. And so the way the mechanics works is you're going to be playing cards that allow you to move. Once you move into these spaces, then you're going to flip them over, and they'll have certain location abilities that do different things. Either you can only move 2 spaces, or you have to jump over a debris, and the debris you have to have at least a 2-run or 3-run power to jump over it. And then every time a character gets eliminated, it goes here, and it's determined on the player count. This is 2 to 4, and so you would start with the 8 and then up. Once you get the evacuate ready, then you would get the evacuation card, put in the Nomia. But each time, all 4 characters, because in a 2-player, there's always 4 no matter what. But in a 2-player game, once you're done with all the movements, and you have first and neutral, or first neutral and second neutral, They're like kind of like AI ghost characters.
Yeah, you could actually lose to them because in our playthrough, we actually lost to the AI.
Yeah. And so once everyone does the movement, the Nomia does his move and then pretty much eliminates one of the characters. And then you'll be adding Nomia cards to the Nomia. So your card never expands. You pretty much always have the same. You get to choose. It's not like blind choosing or card drafting. You actually choose from your whole deck. And so, but of course, whatever you choose is going to be in a discard pile. So, pretty easy game and cool mechanics once you actually learn to play it. And so, it's just a simple race game that gets intense towards the end. So, 4.5 out of 5 mechanics. What do you think about replayability?
I would give the replayability like a 3.5 out of 5 because I think there definitely is lots of card variety, different location variety. But the thing that I think it depends on how it would be different if it's like you sleeve these cards, but these cards I could see them bending very easily and like it would be hard to play with them. They can bend because they seem to bend pretty easily, and these you would possibly have to eventually like super glue these, and I feel like there would be a certain point where once you super glue them a certain amount, they just won't stick on anymore. So that's the only reason why I give it that rating.
Okay, so I give the replayability 4 out of 5. I think it's replayable. And I agree with all his, why he chose that rating. But I just feel that your character decks you have, I think it needs more variation, and I think that would help with the replayability. The Nomia deck has a lot of variation because you're adding a lot of cards, but your own character deck, I think, needs more player manipulation and different things you can do because it is a race game. And so there's very limited cards that allow that.
Yeah, I think there should be cards that you can, there should be like another row of like certain move cards that have certain abilities that once you like reach a certain, like how about you move a different room, maybe you would be able to pick another card that you can have that would help you. And they would have like special abilities. So there would maybe be like a row of never cards because there's these row of bad cards and good cards. So I think it would be, it would add to the mechanics if you had more cards to add to your own deck.
So that's why I give it, what was it, like a 4.5 out of 5?
You said 4.
Or 4. So what do you think about the overall total?
I would give this game like a 3.7 out of 5, 7.2 out of 10 because... Actually, 7.4 out of 10 because I actually did think that the mechanics were really unique. I liked the whole race thing. And also my favorite part was probably like you're deciding because there's actually a lot of like strategy to this game because you don't want to be in dead last, you don't want to be in first. But you also don't want to you also want to move to the new rooms because once you get to a certain point where you're not in the new rooms, then you could very easily get left behind. And sometimes you'll have to sacrifice good cards for other moves just to go over objects. Like this one, you have to have 2 movement points to jump over it. So sometimes you're going to have to sacrifice things to get to new areas, and there's actually a lot of cool things. The different stations are definitely one of the cool things, and I also I do like how the cards are all different. They have different abilities. However, I wish each individual player deck was a little bit different. They do have different cards in them. Like some of them have 5 moves, but I wish they're a little bit different and.
Yeah, they are very similar in nature, the different factions.
Yeah, and also, like I already stated, I wish that there was a row of own cards that could help you. I think it could be an expansion of adding a row of cards out to your deck where strongly after this game. I think that would maybe boost this game up to like a 7.8. That would actually make it pretty fun. And I wish once you finally put this in the deck, the evacuation transport, I wish that like did something like something would happen, like players who are in last get to move or players who basically players who have the least amount of survivors or something get like a little bit of an advantage, because it does seem near the end if someone has like 3 or 4 of our characters left at the very end, they're pretty much gonna win, because that's kind of how the AI destroyed us. They basically always had like a lot of characters, and it was like so late to the game, there really was nothing that we could have done. But yeah, this is actually a really fun game. If you like racing type strategic games where you have to really think about your moves, and this is actually a really fun game. And again, it's by Petersen Games. So what's your review?
I give it like a 7.2 out of 10, 3.2 out of 5. I think this game is good. It just needs like you say, a revision and some kind of like expansion that allows for, some card incorporation where you just, you're able to bring cards into your own deck. I think the Nomia has cards. There might be some good ones that could be implemented, like where it attacks the middle person. So, because in this strategy, you're pretty much always want to be in the middle. So it kind of simplifies this strategy aspect to it, because you want to be in the middle because it's attacking the front or rear at all times. Or maybe even if it does like a wipe, where it wipes like the whole top row or the whole bottom row, like different things that it can manipulate. So I can see a lot of aspect of this game that it can. It could be improved on or implemented or advanced on. So, great game if you want to play a simple racing game. And
yeah, this is actually one of the better race games that we've played.
Yeah. So, anything else you want to say?
I have to say on how I definitely think it is strong on the race aspect on the new rooms. It's definitely one of the better race games we've played. We've played several race games, and we noticed they normally don't have like enough like mechanics. They're kind of a little bit too simple. But this one is actually, it has enough meat on the bone to where you can play it again, and there's actually like you can like build a kind of like strategy and you can win. So I think that that's actually like, because it's not really that luck based, because you basically you choose what cards you have. It is random what cards the enemies choose, but you're not randomly drawing cards. You actually get to pick what cards you want. You get to pick what cards you put in the Nomia deck. So in a way, you can kind of manipulate what comes out in a way. So I think that is really cool about this game. But that was both of our reviews of Evacuate by Petersen Games. So if you like this video, please give it a like. Subscribe down below if you haven't already. If you would like to leave a comment, leave it down below. We will also have the link of where to buy this game. And we will see you in the next video. Bye!